Hey everyone, it's Tim Gamey with Alborz Real Estate Company in Denver, Colorado. And today is April 28th. Just wanted to give you a quick update regarding the rental market. And lately, we all have been surrounded with all different kinds of economic news, high inflation, a little bit of uncertainty about the future, and of course, the higher interest rate, which is also causing the mortgage rate to go higher. Um, I know that we had a client that closed on a transaction last February, and they closed it with 3.25 mortgage rate. And we now have one in the pipeline, and their mortgage rate has is in mid five, and they both have good credit, good income, so on and so forth. So really, the question is that what will this do to the rental market? And we are carefully watching for any kind of signs or indication as to what the good tenants, where they're leaning, and how they are going to react to these economic news. We constantly hear the inflation is high and it's getting higher, going higher, and how will that affect the rental market? What I'm about to tell you is that with all these news, there has not been much of any type of impact, positive or negative, on the rental market as we speak right now. Uh, but if this trend continues, what will happen? I've been in this market for over 20 years. I think it's going to keep the rental market strong. We're going to have to kind of pause and try to understand the perception that the higher mortgage rate is going to create. So if there are people out there, particularly first-time home buyers are the ones who are currently a tenant, they're renting. And with all these news, what will they do? Will they continue to rent? Will they renew their lease that they're in right now? Or will they give a notice that they're not going to renew their lease and they're going to buy? In most examples and cases that we have seen, although the higher mortgage rate is going to make the monthly payment higher, and they may have to bring in more money to the closing, this may be that token of encouragement for people to continue renewing their lease for one more year till they see what happens in the future. One thing that it's important to note here, all the previous slowdown, back in mid 90s, and then later on in 2005, 2006, when those slowed down and some of those that were real estate crash happened, it happened in the midst of massive layoffs and one or two industry slowing down or downsizing. Obviously, in the 90s, it was the oil industry. In 2000, it was the lending industry as well as the high tech. Right now, we don't have either one of those. We don't have any industry threatening to lay off a lot of people. And we don't have any industry that's going to slow down. As a matter of fact, the most economic news that came out the last couple of days, with Facebook beating their expectation and a couple other very strong business reports, none of those are in the forecast, at least not for the next 6 to 9 months. So here in Denver, there are massive buildups. There are a lot of new builds that every month they enter into the markets. Of course, some of those are rental investments. People buy brand new properties and as a rental property, and they look to rent them into the market. Overall, we have to be patient and watch this carefully. But like I said, there is no sign of rental market being impacted. obviously in the buy and sells with the higher mortgage rate, yeah, there may be some slowing down. There may be some balancing. There may even be, if it goes really high, over 6 or 7, some analysts are forecasting that the real estate market will start losing value. In other words, the graph that's going up right now is going to start going down. Um, well, we'll see. And there are people who don't anticipate that to happen. But time will prove which way this market is going to go. But as far as the rental market, it's very strong, and we should, uh, those of us who have the ability and the opportunity to expand our portfolio, we should definitely do it. There are always good deals out there, and we should keep an eye on good deals and get them, because properties are still renting within a week, in some cases less than a week, as soon as they are available and they're advertised properly. The other thing that I wanted to share with you in today's podcast is um, the uh, uh, the ability that I get asked this question, from time to time, that what can a property manager do for me, uh, or should I hire a property manager? To be honest with you, heck yes, you got to hire a property manager if you do have a rental property. The reason for that is because the property manager knows the market very well. Depending on where your property is, they probably have just rented a property not far from yours. So they know the demographic, they know the kind of leads that are available in that area, and they know, the income bracket of those people in the area who are looking for a rental property. And then lastly, um, average tenant out there um, take a property manager very serious when it comes to providing their documents, when it comes to being interviewed by a property manager about a property that they're interested in. A property manager, just because they have seen so many different cases, they can easily weed out the bad apple. So a property manager, keep in mind, also can certainly get more rent from a quality tenant than someone who doesn't have the kind of the experience that a property manager does. I'm a rental property owner myself, so I know exactly what a property manager can do, especially in the markets that, is far away when I get a rental property. And I always let a property manager handle it for me, even though that I have the experience and the knowledge, but I'm far away. And a local guy definitely knows more about the market than I do. So if you are managing your property, that's fine. Make sure that you go by the book. There are a lot of rules and regulations that you should know, and you just don't want to cross the line and do not follow the law or the guidelines in the city or the county where your property is located at. I cannot tell you enough about screening. I've seen people out there that they have rental properties and they're renting their properties without screening. And keep in mind, when it comes to screening, do not cut any corners. Okay, use the service that gives you the most comprehensive information from that tenant, not only for the moment that you are considering them, whether you should rent your properties to them or not, and then also having all that information with you throughout the time they are in your property. And we'll talk more about that, why it's important to hold on to that information. Um, and then there are services out there for, $10, $15, $20 that they will do screening for you. Again, don't let the price to divert you from the real outcome that you should have. And of course, keep in mind that tenants usually pay for the rental application. A typical tenant that walks into an apartment building or any property management company, they have to fill out the rental application, and the rental application has a fee. The lowest I have seen in Denver market, it's about $25, and I've seen it all the way up to $75. It's not the price, but it's the quality and the content that you're supposed to receive. And so there's so much in it that you need to pay attention. I cannot stress also enough about income verification, employment verification, rental history, background, all of that. And of course, the most important thing is a face-to-face meeting. That perhaps will give you that peace of mind that you need in order to rent your property. Keep in mind, nowadays fixing anything in a rental property is very, very expensive. It's very difficult to find even a handyman nowadays in this market, or a plumber, or an electrician, or a painter, or somebody to come and fix sheetrock, not to mention appliance repair and the rest of this stuff. So you want to make sure that you cherry pick and pick the one who's going to take care of your property for you and give you the best performance as far as a tenant is involved, and everything else that goes with it. Although I should tell you, and I'm sure most rental property owners know this, it's a two-way street. It's not just that tenant pays rent on time and pay it every month, but also the landlord, the property manager, have a lot of responsibilities that they need to do it in a timely manner, and do it with good quality. It is all of those that come together that at the end of the lease, whether a tenant will happily renew the lease, and even if there is a rent increase, they will accept it, or a tenant cannot wait for the end of the lease to show up so that they can move out. Just simply because they had bad experience. There are more other factors that are involved in a rental property. Again, going back to what I started this podcast with, the rental market is strong. A property manager can do a lot. These rent rate increases so far has not caused any adverse impact into the rental market. All the signs and indications are going towards this market will stay the way it is, the rental market, I mean to say. And for those of us that have the opportunity and all the resources to expand the portfolio, you should by all means do it. Denver is a very good market. There's still a lot of people moving into Denver, and there are a lot of good A+ type quality tenant that can give excellent result for your property, every good return. Once again, Tim Gamey with Alborz Real Estate. We're only a phone call away. If you have any questions regarding the rental market, we specialize in residential. We don't do any commercial. But if you have any questions regarding residential, whether you want to buy or sell your property, or you have a rental property that you're looking for a tenant, or you may just have a couple questions, we're always there for you. Give us a call. Our number is 720-222-9616. Thank you very much. Until next week, have a good day.